the believer's prayer. But the apostles weren't satisfied with Jesus' answer. They wanted an actual prayer that they could teach to the new disciples. After listening to what Jesus had to say about prayer, James Zebedee said, "Very well, Master, but we don't want a prayer for ourselves, but for the newer believers who are always asking us to teach them the right way to pray to the Father in heaven." Jesus said, "Okay, if you still want that type of prayer, I'll give you the one I taught my brothers and sisters in Nazareth. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our bread for tomorrow. Refresh our souls with the water of life. And forgive us every one our debts as we have forgiven our debtors. Save us in temptation, deliver us from evil, and increasingly make us perfect like yourself." It's not strange that the apostles wanted Jesus to teach them a model prayer for believers. John the Baptist had taught his followers several prayers, and all other great teachers before them had made up prayers for their pupils. The Jews had some 25 or 30 set prayers, which they recited in the synagogues and even on the street corners. The 12 were all hard-pressed to know how to answer the masses when they wanted to be taught how to pray, just like John had taught his disciples. And furthermore, Jesus was really against anyone praying in public. Up to this point, the 12 had actually heard him pray only a few times. But they did see him spend entire nights doing something like prayer or worship. And they were really curious to know what he was doing. Jesus taught his apostles to always pray in secret, to go off by themselves in the quiet of nature, or to go to their rooms and shut the doors. In the years since Jesus' time with us, people have modified his family's prayer. Now, many people finish it with, "In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ." And at some point in history, 2 lines were lost in copying, and someone else added the following clause, "For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forevermore." Jesus never taught a formal personal prayer, only group, family, or social prayers. He gave the apostles the prayer in collective form, like the family had prayed at home in Nazareth, and he never even volunteered to do that. Jesus taught his apostles that to be effective, prayer must be 5 things. First, it has to be unselfish. It can't be just for oneself. Second, the person has to believe. The prayer has to come from faith. Third, the person must be sincere. The prayer has to express honesty in one's heart. Fourth, it has to be intelligent, according to light. And fifth, the person has to trust in and be in submission to the Father's wisdom. When Jesus spent whole nights on the mountain praying, it was mostly for his disciples, especially for the 12 apostles. The Master prayed very little for himself, even though he was often in contact with our Father in heaven. Okay, everyone, that's it for part 1 of chapter 23 at Gilboa and in the Decapolis. And we'll get to part 2 in a few days. Defend liberty. Protect your kids. Serve man for God. Bobby Keyser, out here.